From Michigan Production Alliance, I'm Barton Bund.
And I'm Mark Adler.
And this is another special at-home safety dispatch from Michigan Production Alliance. Mark, we are still in quarantine at this point, but we're starting to see plans in place. We're starting to see some documents and some proposals and some ideas that are coming forth for how we can start to return to work. But we're also got a lot of questions about it. So what do you feel like is most important for people to understand right now? What's best to cover right now?
Well, you know, as we've talked about in our first two episodes, there are documents coming out from a lot of different groups and agencies. You know, OSHA has their document. The Entertainment Industry Network has their document. Now we're seeing documents from PERG, which is the Production Equipment Rental Group. And that is specifically for trucks loading in and loading out. Very detailed documents. And of course, Tyler Perry has put out a document now.
Yeah, we have in a few we're going to talk to Kimberly Jones, who's a makeup artist who has worked at Tyler Perry's studios and has a lot of insight for what's just been put out. But for those of you who haven't seen the document yet, so there was 30-plus page set of guidelines that Tyler Perry Studios put out with the cooperation of a lot of different experts and departments, and it's thorough. I mean, it's quite something actually. Mark, I had a look at it, and I was like, this sounds amazing to be down at Perry Studios and to be, you know, like just the levels of protection that they have put in place, the amount of testing and the time allotments, the travel, they put a lot of levels and layers of protection in there. How are you feeling about what we're seeing here?
It's a lot. In short, it's a lot. And the way it will work is another story. We're looking at the overall, we're looking at the umbrella guidelines right now. The reason we have Kim here with us today is to talk about how it will look on a department level. Because production will have their guidelines and the departments will have their guidelines to make themselves and their clients feel safe.
And this one, it goes beyond what we were seeing before. I mean, what we were seeing before was like, okay, we need PPE, we need distancing, we need safety talks and things like that. Tyler Perry says, we're going to have private travel, we're going to have private housing, we're going to keep everybody. I mean, the distinct thing about this is the bubble. Right. The title of the piece is Camp Quarantine, and it really sounds like a futuristic, artistic, like culture that is going to develop around, you know, every film set that goes in there becomes its own tiny like civilization in the middle. I mean, it's beyond just a pod. You don't leave. When you go there, you stay for the duration.
Sure. Now, with that as an overview, again, there are people starting to work. I'm not sure about Atlanta, but I know in Detroit, there are people that are working now. And what they have to do is self-protect. If the director, especially one from out of the country, comes in and they are asked to do something that they don't feel safe doing, they have to push back. And that is what's happening now. We're seeing a trickle of production starting up. I've had a call for a job at the end of this week. We'll see if they can get into the building to sanitize before we walk in, but that's happening.
So before every day starts, there's a level of cleaning that has to happen. Is that, I mean, on every set, what is that going, what are the requirements like for that?
From what I'm hearing, some things that have not been touched pre-COVID-19, those can be called good.
Like
just
what?
If they've stayed in their facilities, if they've never left, they're safe. But when they walk onto a set, you know, that's another thing. They walk onto the set and they work, and it's got to be sanitized with an 80-20 solution of alcohol and water, where, you know, with things that can take that. Other non-alcoholic pads have to be used on certain electronics and touch screens and that sort of thing. So a variety of learning curve that we're going to have to be doing.
Just as a pro tip, Mark, what do you clean a touch screen with? What do you think it like for your department and your work? What precautions do you recommend?
It's going to be a non-alcoholic pad.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so some kind of a wipe that doesn't have any alcohol in it, and you apply that to the pad itself, and you wipe if it doesn't have it already, and you wipe the screen gently with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, so as things go forward, I mean, I think every time that a document like this comes out, we say, great, but we're going to find maybe we're going to have questions, and maybe we're going to find little holes or little areas or little gaps that we feel like maybe haven't been fully filled in yet. There are a few questions that still have yet to be answered before we can fully commit.
Here's two of that. Looking through these documents and looking through other documents, I've seen, very importantly, HVAC has not been addressed in the direct production documents that I've seen. And from what I've seen, basically moving air is good. Not moving air is bad. So hopefully these studios have not only air conditioning systems, but isolated air conditioning systems so that they can actually shoot sound without the HVAC interfering. You have to move the air. The other thing is comms have not been addressed. The Perry document doesn't have anything about comms that I've seen. And that's basically, bring your own, sanitize yourself before you walk on set and when you leave.
The Perry document has more when it comes to talent care than I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Right, totally.
And that's something that I've been waiting to hear more about, is just how are you going to get people in front of a camera to do these things that Tyler Perry wants you to do? And I'm encouraged by that. I actually was one of the people that was saying, we need to hold out. We can't do a thing until there's a vaccine. Like how can two people even sit at a lunch? And how can you shoot the most basic scene in a TV drama? How can you do the most basic things at this point? But he's solved that through the bubble.
Yeah. And
this dome. The invisible dome that's over top of the entire production.
Right. That's very true. But also what we haven't seen is, and I haven't seen a lot of this, but watch for it, this is going to be an outlier year in the way that productions are shot when we do come back, because I think the scripts are going to be rewritten to accommodate some of these,
Oh, yeah. You're gonna have stories reflecting our times right now. I think that a new TV drama coming out right now you can't not deal with it in a contemporary setting anymore, because it's changed the way that our lives go. You can't go back to social distancing and the new behaviors and things like that. When I'm thinking about how to write for that, and plus we haven't seen to the other side of it either. So we can't really say, oh, remember what it was like back in quarantine times. We're living in it. It's a very weird thing to create content around. So they could be writing something for the times. They have to incorporate the themes of the times, to be contemporary. But also, does what we're doing, this is one of the biggest questions I've had. What are the limitations on that? I mean, I think that dialogue and all those things are going to be fine, but what happens when it comes to stunts, intimacy, all the things that are, kind of that I like watching? I just want to make sure that we're getting as comprehensive as we can, and that there isn't just one, sort of like statement saying, hey, we're safe to go back to work under these conditions. I want to make sure I want to make sure when they say safe, they mean it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, why don't we get to it, Mark? Speaking of safe, we've got Kimberly Jones with us. Kim, welcome to In Frame. Kim is began in Michigan, is a well-known and well-respected local makeup and hair department head. And Kim, we're just, as Kim's picture is coming up, we're just going to talk a little about that. So Kim, welcome to In Frame.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Of course. So hair and makeup, what's new?
A lot. One of the things I can say is the makeup and hair team has always been the first line of defense between sanitation on sets. Because of the fact that we are a licensed craft, we've always been educated on the best forms of sanitizing, disinfecting, keeping people safe. And we're going to continue to go forth and expound upon what we've already been educated on and what we've already been doing, and factor in some of the new components that are very prevalent with this virus that's going around.
What's your get up now? I mean, we're talking about face shields, we're talking about individual makeup supplies and utensils for every talent. Yes. That's what some of what I've seen.
Yes, absolutely. I am the IATSE 798 steward for the state of Georgia. And so I have been working with our education department and our president and other people involved in drafting what our safety precautions are going to be. And some of the things that we've been touching on, and just between the 798 and the 706, which is the California division of makeup and hair, we're going to look like pretty much dental hygienists. We're going to be having on face shields, protective eyewear, face masks, and I've even seen some talk about us having some kind of a robe, like a Tyvek robe that like a surgeon would wear during surgery. Things that can be disposed of quickly and easily. And we're going to be needing to have more time in our day. I don't think a lot of productions and producers have started thinking about the timing it will take between actors. Like in the morning, we have an 18-minute pre-call where we come in, we set up our station, we get ready for our first guest to sit in our chair. Going forward, we're going to need more time for sanitation. So that 18 minutes might go to 30 minutes.
Would you be one of the departments that has to move in the day before even? Or is that part of the plan as well?
Probably more than a day before, probably up to 5 days before, because of the fact that we would need to load in to our trailer space. First of all, what will happen is we would have to arrive at the studio. We'd have to go through the safety precautions of having our temperature taken, having our test taken. We'd be isolated for the day until our test came back negative. At that point, they would move us over into our space where they're going to have us housed. So we'd be there. At that point, we'd start moving things into our trailer. And then we'd have to start meeting our actors for meet and greets. And then we'd also have to start doing camera testing before we could actually start first day of filming. So I would say normally now I have maybe 2 weeks of work prior to filming. So it will definitely be at least 7 days for makeup and hair, probably. I'm guessing of my own, based on what I've read and seen, where we would have to be on the stages or studios before we start actually filming.
What about budgets? I mean, what is this doing to, has there been a lot of talk about what this is doing to budgets for a department like yours? Because this is a lot more supplies. This is a ton more supplies.
Yeah, I think that nobody actually comes out and says the words, hey guys, it's going to cost you a lot more money. But on paper, yes, it is. Between all the PPE that we're going to have to wear, that's going to be a lot. I know that we're also looking at things that we've never had to deal with before. We're going to need either a laundry service or we're going to need our own washing machine and dryer dedicated to my department so that we can do all the extra laundry that we'll be having now that we didn't have in the past. So that's going to be a budget thing. Also, previously in the past, we've been able to keep makeup and hair products sanitary, and we've been able to use them on more than one person. Now it's looking like we're going to be having to have, each actor will have, we've always had each actor have their own set of bag of their makeup in the bag. They've always had their own brushes, but now they're going to have their own set of makeup. Producers are not used to paying for makeup. What they consider our kit is our makeup brushes, airbrush machines, our capes, blow dryers, things like that. But they don't consider the $40,000 worth of cosmetics that I carry in my kit as actually anything that they've never really considered it part of what they've had to pay for. It's just something that I come with. So now it's going to be a lot more money actually buying cosmetics per each person.
Well, I mean, when you say it that way, the numbers start to just sort of expand. You know, I mean, it just doubled. It just tripled.
Yeah.
It just got really more complicated. And you know, gone are the days are, hey, do you have that brush? Where'd you put that brush? Hey, can I have that? Can I use yours? You know, like
Exactly.
not that there'd be anything sloppy ever going on. You were been right there. You've been dealing with germs for a long, long time. I'm sure that a lot of this stuff is stuff that you were aware of. Am I right? Or are you?
Yes.
Is this a big adjustment?
It's not a big adjustment, but it is a compounding adjustment. So, for instance, let's say on a budget movie that's like a $40 million budget. Usually, I'll have $150 a day. It's just in expendables, which means throwaway items like mascara spoolies, lip brushes, sponges, puffs, towels, that kind of thing. That is going to be probably, I would say, 50% more in the budget now. So instead of me spending $150 a day on expendables, maybe now my budget will be $200 a day for expendables.
Let me ask you this. Is the supply chain intact
No,
for these items?
absolutely not. When this whole thing hit, I contacted my in-town supplier here called the engineer guy. And I said to the person who's in charge, I said, hey, this is what I'm seeing in the documents I'm reading that I need for my department. Have you started procuring these items yet? Have you thought about these disposable robes? Have you thought about, the masks and things like that? So we started a dialogue up, and the people there have been fantastic about trying to procure these items. Unfortunately, because the federal government has procured most of these items and are dispensing them to the people that need them, such as our first line emergency workers, they are in short supply. And because they're in short supply, the price has also gone high because it's, demand by the market.
Are the new regulations holding you back creatively at all? I mean, I'm thinking of elaborate makeup designs and things like that, which require teams of people to be working on simultaneously. Is the new time constraint affecting you and your work? Are you working within a new kind of a set of schedule constraints that you were not used to before?
The only way to, because I'm a department head, I am not very well versed on the big type of makeups like they do on like Star Trek. That's a whole different field, and that's a whole nother amazing opportunity to have creative fun. I don't think that the creativeness is where people are going to find the challenge. It's how to get those many people working on the same actor at the same time. Because sometimes some of those makeups take 3 people at a time to work on to get that done in a 2 or 3 hour time period. And that's where it's going to be challenging, is how do we get this done properly in the time amount that production needs these people on set, with the amount of crew members it'll take to do this in such the comprised short space that they want us to work within. What I'm looking at the documents that I've been reading is that a makeup trailer right now can seat up to 10 people, some of the makeup trailers that I work in. Now they're saying that out of those 10 chairs, they will have only 2 chairs working, 1 at each end. So a makeup artist at one end with an actor, the hairstylist at one end with another actor. So that's 4 people in a space that normally could house 20 people.
Yeah, normally that trailer is just jammed, and now suddenly it's going to be,
Yeah.
Is it still going to be a trailer? Do you need more facilities in general of that kind? Is it more are the facilities themselves changing quite a bit?
The facilities can be changed. It depends on what type of show you're working on. If you're working on primarily a location division, derived show, you're still going to need a trailer. For instance, Mr. Perry, he has beautiful makeup rooms that are dedicated just to makeup and hair. And I know my friends who are working there that they have social distance every 6 feet is how they're going to be doing their rooms.
And do they have enough space for that with the kind of things
Yes.
that they have? They Speaking of Tyler Perry, you've had a chance to be over there, and can you describe here's what I'm wondering, because we had the great proposal that has appeared online now, and I first saw it in the Hollywood Reporter, and it says confidential, but I have it. And as I was reading through, I said, what kind of place can handle this? Like, what kind of, I mean, this is an amazing, expensive proposition. It's facilities like housing and travel on a level that it's big. This is for a full crew. This is for a full big crew and big cast and everything like that. This is a 328 person production. Mm-hmm. So it accommodates everybody. I'm not saying it's complete yet. I do think that this 30-page document is long, but it's still missing a few things. But when it comes to Tyler Perry's facilities, they want to get this ready by July and start working. Do you think it's possible based on your experience? Yeah,
I do. I believe that he has the most concise plan that I've read. I do believe that he's thoroughly thought this out, and he's doing the best that he can do to accommodate all the actors for their safety, all their crew for their safety. He does have the most state-of-the-art facilities. Everything over there is top-notch, brand new. He does have the area to house people. And if he doesn't have the area, I know that he's talking about making these makeshift hotels, kind of like, how when the Army moves. they move with all their tents. He has that ability to make that happen. And he
That-
doesn't stop. He's a very determined man. He's very smart. He's very determined. And when he sees his vision, he does not wait. He works on it and it comes to life, and there you have it. It works.
Have you seen in your talks with IATSE, are they playing nice? Is it working between them? Because IATSE has their own guidelines that are out there.
Yeah, I'm not privileged to that information. I don't know that information. The only thing I know is like the things that I have read. My husband also works directly for a studio, and he's working with their safety team. He is in charge of facilities for the studio for the state of Georgia. And so right now he's working on his facilities, getting them up to par. He's building out portable hand washing stations.
Yeah, that's what we see. Will there be enough of them and within proximity? I guess he's trying to figure that out now.
Yes, he's working on that. And as of right now, no, there are not enough. That's why he's having some built. And so what he's working with now is that his safety department from his studio and the legal department from his studio is working with the people that are his special effects team, who are actually building the pieces for their studio. On the last day of my job, that before I got shut down, when the coronavirus was starting to become more prevalent, we had like those portable those portable hand washing things. And we did have them very close nearby. We had at least 3 within vision of everywhere I walked.
Sure. Now, who's going to be, I hope they're going to have staff enough to remove all the waste. I see all sorts of, logistical issues that they've got to work with, right?
Yeah, so that's another thing too. Whose department is that? Is that the locations department? Is that the production assistant department? I know sometimes craft services is responsible to remove trash. So that's another area that is very gray right now, that nobody's really quite buttoned that part down yet, but there is.
I think you're going to have to dedicate, you're going to have to, we're almost talking about creating a couple of new departments here and there, just dealing with the health and safety and waste. And yeah, honestly, if it was outside of, seriously, if it was outside of my traditional training, I don't know if I'm ready to step up from being a film worker to a sanitation expert.
Exactly.
And so anyway, I'm looking at all this stuff, and I'm looking at just more time, more time is more money, a lot more money, because every day that this adds to your work is just, it's extraordinary. This is going to be, has there been talk of specific numbers or budgets for something like this? Has there been any comparative? Has anybody, Mark, have we seen anything that says this is what this would cost?
No one's talking about that in my world. I've read a lot of these reports, not seeing budgets, but everyone's kind of getting the gist that it's going to be, more money like that. No overtime for crew. That's been recognized, because, 10-hour days, right? Hmm. If that is the case, if that is the norm, then that's a great possibility. How do you get 112 pages, as Kim mentioned, in a day, 10-hour day?
Oh my God. So we have a lot of questions that have yet to be answered, but Kim, for you and your department and your readiness to, when you're preparing to go back to work on a production, just like the one he's describing, or with those kind of safety things in place, it's great. But do you feel that anything is still missing, and are you concerned about any aspects of this from your safety or the safety of talent?
I've seen some paperwork where it says that they want to have a doctor and a nurse on staff. Between you and I, this is my personal opinion, I don't think that we would need to have a doctor and a nurse. I think that is not cost effective. In Atlanta, we have amazing medics. Most of our medics are actual working paramedics. These people triage people and see things on a daily basis that I would trust my life to them. And I think we need to bump up the amount of medics we have. Usually on a movie, you maybe have 2 medics, one for construction, one for on set. I see that maybe that department needs to at least double. And these people, maybe the medics should be the people in charge of triaging crew as they come to work in the morning. I don't believe that a PA should have that kind of responsibility of checking people's temperatures and asking people about symptoms that they might be having. I think that somebody that's trained medically should be in charge of that. So I think maybe the medics, that could be something that they do, and that maybe their size of their department doubles to accommodate that newfound responsibility that they might have to have.
I've seen that report. They're talking about either doubling the size of the medic team or having a safety officer whose responsibility it is to simply check people in, not putting a heavy burden on medics. But, you know, we'll see how that works out as we go forward.
Yeah, and documentation that I've been reading too about what makeup and hair are responsible for is that we're supposed to be responsible now to have an infrared non-touchable thermometer in our trailer at all times.
Oh.
And that we are going to have like a UVA, UVB autoclave sterilizer in our trailer. Some already do, some don't. I know that my towel warmers are UVA, UVB sterilizer. That's my personal one that I bring with me when I go to work. So there's a lot more things like that that I am going to take on my own safety precautions. If nobody else is doing it, these are things that I'm already purchasing to keep my actors more safe than they already are.
Absolutely. Now, for this job that I mentioned earlier that I may get, I was assuring the client of my safety protocols, and I haven't gotten any specific ones, but again, just from reading, I know that I'm probably going to need a piece of plexiglass, like a sneeze guard between me and my client in some cases. I'm going to have to sanitize. I'm going to be wearing a mask, those sort of things. So if your client knows that you are being safe and following protocols, this is more corporate world and commercial world, then, you know, they're going to feel comfortable.
Absolutely. Yep.
Do you all feel that, I mean, Mark, you have a very specialized department. Kim, you have a very, very specialized department. Do you have people that you can go to comfortably when you have a complaint? Do you have people you can go to for guidance in a new situation that you don't understand? Because I also hear that you guys are creating a lot of your own solutions, that you guys are actually like the ones coming up with stuff quite a bit. But do you have enough structure in place? Does this system give you enough protection in case something goes wrong? I mean, I'm worried about trouble in the bubble. I'm worried about, like, if something were to fall short, what happens to the entire production? Do we know things like that? I mean, what if somebody becomes sick? What if somebody's an essential worker? I guess what I'm asking mainly is, do you all feel that you have someone you can go to when you need somebody to go to when there's something breaking down on set?
Mark,
That's
do you want
a
to
big
go first?
question. Yeah.
I can go first. I do, because of the fact that I've been doing makeup and hair since I was 20 years old. So that's 33 years now. And being a department head, I do feel that it's my responsibility to have the safety of the people that work with me on my team. It's my responsibility to make sure that these people have everything they need to be able to do their job. It's my responsibility to make sure that everybody that works with me is healthy, is happy, that they like coming to work every day, that they want to be there. And I have a kind of a big mouth, and I will say it like it is, and I will go to the right people and say, hi, can I please have a chat with you? I'm so sorry to bother you, but this is what's happening, and I think we need to address the situation. And I find that it's all about how you address the situation. And I've always worked with producers that I have had a rapport with, that if I've ever had an issue, that I have always felt comfortable going to them and saying, this is what's happening, and how can we change this? This is a challenge, and what can we do together to fix it?
That is true. I've seen her have conversations like that. She's very good at approaching people that need to have a conversation, that need to know of a situation. In my view, ADs are first line of defense on every set for safety. In the past, there's an OSHA version in Atlanta. I'm not sure what they call it there. There's OSHA in Michigan. But they have rules that are underlying everything for occupational safety. So when you walk onto a set and you don't feel comfortable, you have to know who to talk to, and that's going to be a steward or the AD. And if you're not comfortable with those answers, then there's the power of we. You know, everyone in your department speaks up. So hopefully, you know, you've got the right people in place so that doesn't have to happen. You just want to ultimately be safe and get the information that you need to do that. Yeah, makes sense. So Kim, you had a lot of information on here. We really appreciate that you gave us these points. These are fantastic. You mentioned in here, or no, I'm sorry, expendables.
Yes.
So are the, in the past, we've always been able to, you know, purchase our expendables and have the production, you know, pay for them.
Mhm.
Is that still going to be the case with this level?
I think it has to be the case. There's no other way around it. Why should us as a crew have to pay for things that production has always paid for in the past? Especially now since it's compounding and we're buying more of them. Because here, just in my department alone, I'm going to just read a short list of things that we go through on a daily basis. So hand sanitizer, antibacterial hand soap, hand lotion, disposable gloves, chemical disinfectants like Lucaside, Barbicide, 70% alcohol, 90% alcohol, Clippercide, applicators, which include mascara spoolies, lip applicators, eyeliner applicators, sponges, Q-tips, Kleenex, cotton rounds. Now that we can't use porous palettes like a plastic palette or a wood palette, we can use we have to use wax paper palettes because they're disposable and can be torn off. Paper towels, washable powder puffs. Now we're going to be needing more of those little tiny CC cups to pour our solutions into, to make every single actor have their own personal set.
Wow.
Spray bottles, Ziploc bags. So all these things.
That's an incredible amount of items there. As we mentioned earlier, incredible amount of waste resulting from all this stuff. We have to still work this out. And all these documents, probably including your departments, are going to have to be living documents as you discover the things that you need, right? Yeah. Yeah. Barton, what about you as an actor? What do you see? You haven't yet, but
I'm such a germaphobe that I was holding out. I mean, I'm still hoping that that SAG will come through with more. And I think that this latest document, everything that Kim just mentioned, that needs to be a part of every document that I need to see for my own personal safety. I need to know all that stuff. And I need to know that stuff is guaranteed to Kim so that it can be guaranteed for me, because I just can't. I mean, I'm just not ready to return to work until like actor safety is in a way better place than where it is right now. So I would do a couple of things. I mean, there's always a few things that I bring on set with me for small jobs and big jobs. I always still bring a few pieces of makeup, and I still bring my own razors. I bring my own, you know, just personal items that I think might be necessary. Sometimes a clothes steamer, depending if it's a small enough production, and it's like, I'll just steam that myself. You know, I'll just take that and, you know, like there's pitching in that I do, but I also want to be the one touching my own stuff. I just want to be, I would have a few issues with like, there's also wardrobe, because if I go to my trailer traditionally, on the day, then wardrobe is going to be there. But then that means the transportation of the wardrobe to my trailer just got much more PPE. It just got much more protection involved and things. I'm just wondering about so many little details that I can't even begin. And I want to be there and I want to get back to work. And I did look at something like Tyler Perry's plan, and I said, that's ideal. Like that's the best I've seen so far.
right.
But what happens on, but small productions can't, I mean, they're the typical productions I do aren't those, you know, I mean, I'm doing dumb car commercials. So like, how am I supposed to, you know, what can I expect? And like, what am I willing to settle for? What can I live with? I mean, I don't even know if I don't even know if my germophobia is going to like just keep me out for a while, just because I'm just like not comfortable, frankly. I'll just be honest about that. Cause what I'm seeing right now is just, it's good. but it's not complete. That's all. So,
You know, one thing I think is important as an actor for you is that you brought up some really great points. You have so many departments that touch you and so many departments that see you on a daily basis. And I think actors as a whole in SAG and AFTRA need to really impress upon the producers that they want to see the credentials of these people that you're working with too. I know that during this downtime, during this whole 10 weeks I've had off, I daily have found something to brush up on. I've gone over every IATSE OSHA class. I have certified myself in 6 different, like barbicide, leukocyde, all these disinfectant and safety courses so that when I go back to work, people can see that, look, she took this class. She knows that this is important. And I think that if you know that how important it is to the people that are taking care of you, then maybe that will make the actor be able to focus more on, like, what are your lines? What are you going to do? How are you going to do it? If you know that the people who are taking care of you are in it to win it for your safety.
yeah, I can't imagine if I entered back onto set right now and they said, well, we're just going to do this with masks and distancing, and when you go to roll, we're just you remove your mask and you go. That's not a condition under which I personally, as an artist, like working. I miss being able to talk with my director one-on-one. I miss being able to check in and do the last looks with my makeup designer. I miss having the talks with my makeup designer, just the therapy session and just the passing the time, the kind of, like, my makeup people I've always loved for just getting along with your makeup artist is absolutely essential. And that person can become you're going to spend a lot of time together. And I want to be able to, I want to be, in content wise, I want to be able to feel comfortable doing all the things I was doing before. And I can't name a single one of these things that I'm good with right now. I used to model, car parts. I'm not touching anything, man. Like, I used to, I can think of some fight scenes and love scenes and things that I've done. And I'm like, I can't even imagine doing a thing like that, because everything that could go wrong. And so, I feel like the hardest department to cover at times when it comes to this safety is going to be the actor, because eventually you're going to have to throw them loose in front of the camera. So I'm concerned. I'm personally not dying to get back to work if it's in an unsafe condition. Just can't.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I mean, so that's my answer, is just like, whoa, I haven't seen anything yet that makes me feel completely covered until we have the vaccine. I am one of those people, like, Mark, this, this is the reason we're doing this. I think we're all, like, concerned and freaked out and wanting to spread the word, right? That's what we're trying to do.
Absolutely. We're looking at finding the best solutions going forward. Each document that we've seen and heard about is a living document. We're going to be finding solutions. Once we get on set, people are going to see how it fits with them, in my opinion. We have a movie coming here, Kill Switch, at some point. He really wants to bring it here.
This is Steven Soderbergh's Detroit-based 1950s period drama.
Yeah.
We were
nice period piece. I hope he can make that happen. It'll put a lot of people to work, and it'll be a great example for everyone. In the meantime, we've got a lot of smaller shows starting up, just in terms of, days, small crews from 6 down. I haven't seen any big crews happening. Educational, as we've talked about in earlier dispatches, medical, a lot of live shows where the crew becomes essential because the people are getting an essential message out. So this whole vast knowledge base is going to be available. We can't figure this out in real time. There's a lot of things we're going to have to do based on actual experience.
Kim, are you ready to be one of those first crews out there in the bubble? Are you ready to jump in, or how are you feeling about it? Are you ready to roll, or you still have a few things to work out?
I'm a little nervous about it, but I've spent the last 10 weeks really taking as many safety classes as I can online, brushing up on disinfectants and sanitation procedures. And I do have all of these items at my house now. They're all brand new, clean, ready to go. So I do feel that I could go out there and do a great job. I do feel I could.
Absolutely. I'm a member of Avixia, which is it's a global educational group, and I became a certified technology specialist. They are providing training for a variety of things, working in the COVID age. How are we going to deal with certain things? So I too am being certified in these classes. I think that's a great idea. Absolutely.
And
So
where can we find out more about those classes? Because suddenly I'm thinking I need to take a few classes. I don't know what's available for actors at this moment, but I need to. Where can we go to find out more about this stuff?
Well, Avixia is a member-based place, so you have to be a member of that. It costs a certain amount of money per year. IATSE buys its membership from them, or allows their membership to have membership within that organization. But LinkedIn Learning is out there. That's certainly a great resource. There's a lot of new material coming out there. I have to check and see what has happened recently. I know I've seen one or two. I'll have to get those links for everybody.
Well, that'd be great. I mean, I think that the more awareness we can spread when it comes to that, because we have competing information all the time. We're getting messages of all kinds. We're getting messages like, that'll make us feel safer to go back, that'll make us feel less safe to go back. So what I really, really always depend upon is like going to a direct source like that can kind of straighten you out and say, hey, this is how it's gonna, this is the stuff you really need to know. I mean, this is what this is essential. Absolutely.
And with people like Kim in charge, I feel more safe already.
Thanks, Kim. No, we got Kim. We're fine. Yeah. Take off. Yeah.
Not all that. I'm not all that. I'm a part of the cog. I'm a part of the wheel. I'm just a spoke in the wheel. But everybody I think should really have in their own personal, even at home, Lucaside. Lucaside is a hospital grade disinfectant which kills microbial bacteria, everything like MRSA, everything that you think that it can kill, it kills. And you just need a little bit of it. So go online to lucaside.com, buy yourself a 16-ounce bottle. You need 2 ounces per gallon of water. And, just have that for your own self so that you can sanitize things around your own house, like doorknobs, light switches, cell phone covers, things like that. Since this started, after dinner every night, I made my children do that. That was their chore. They had to go around the house and sanitize anything they touched. And keeping yourself, healthy at home, that's also your first line of defense. Let's keep ourselves healthy before we can go out there and keep everybody else around us healthy, right?
Yeah. Just one question. I've heard of that agent before, but I don't know what's in it. Is it an alcohol-based agent or is it something else?
I don't think it's an alcohol-based agent.
See, that's where you
spell it, Lucaside. What is that? I want to get a case of that.
We'll look it up. We'll look it up and put a link on our site.
Yeah. Let's get that out there. I gotta. What you're describing is like, yes, I need like that's exactly what I need.
You see, because the reason I mention that is because a lot of the manufacturers, have different recommendations for. I mentioned touch screens, no alcohol on those. So you have to be very careful about plastics and metals and electronics going forward. Kim knows. Yeah.
So what I can do is when we hang up on this call sometime today, I will send you over an email of all the disinfectants and their websites so that anybody who wants to can go and check them out, see what they're comprised of, see what they will do, if they're a sanitizer or a disinfectant, how they can help you both at home and at work. There's even soaps, so special soaps that you can have at your house that I know my daughter is immunocompromised. She's 17 years old. And so there are certain precautions we've been taking for 2 years at our house of certain types of soaps and things like that we can and cannot use here. So
that would be
very
great.
Good.
I would flip out. I would, yeah, bring it on, please. We need plenty of that. That is fabulous. I mean, especially because you just described that the caring for your own children. For me, if it's good enough for a makeup artist caring for children and if it's good enough for you, it's going to be good enough for me. I mean, that's what I feel like. I mean, I just appreciate with you as kind of being a, in the position that you are. I just really, really appreciate you as a frontline worker in this business. I mean, you were really hands-on, you're really there. And it's just the guidance and the leadership you're providing right now, I think is going to be essential for so many people.
Well, thanks for just all here to be working together. We all want to get back to work. We all want to do it healthily. We all want to have fun again. I'm telling you, when I say I've watched Netflix, like I've watched it all. There's nothing left on that I can see anymore.
Yeah, I finished it the other night. It was great. That Netflix, yeah, I watched it. It was terrific. Yeah, that's how I feel. I'm just running out of
Yeah, and
I'm ready. I think Netflix is expired, and we need to like re-up it. And
we need to get out there and make new content.
Yeah. I've even watched old episodes of like Good Times.
I think Kim has worked on some of those. I think
Really?
Kim has worked on some of those Netflix shows.
Yeah. So, well, Kim, it's pretty fabulous, and I want to be able to keep going like this. I want to be able to check in with you again, and Mark, what we've been doing from the beginning, what we're trying to do, I'm just extremely happy with it because it's making. I know this, that every time I talk about this stuff, I feel a little better. Every time I learn a little bit more, I feel better, and I feel like if we can continue to, with all the rumors and with all the speculation going around, as long as we can continue to provide the latest and continue to talk about it, I feel like we're going to do something good, and we can get there faster. If we can solve a few of these problems now, we can get the production faster. But we still got a little ways to go. So, Kim, I'm very grateful for you coming on today. It's just been an eye opener.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Kim. It's great seeing you again.
Thanks for having me, Mark. It's always good to see you.
Yeah, and all the best to you. Yeah,
and out to you.
And for this and more, I want you to head down to mpami.org. This is Michigan Production Alliance's mission is to market. What is Michigan Production Alliance's mission, and especially now, what do you feel like is most important for members and
education
community?
Has always been an important part of MPA's mission and goal, to educate people that are just coming into the business or those that have been there for a while. So if we can put out information that affects the work that they do, that is our mission.
Excellent. So, and some of the best stuff has been up on Facebook, and so I really do encourage people to get down to the Michigan Production Alliance Facebook page. And Mark, we are back next time with Madeline Stunkel, who is playing the lead role in The Wretched. She's playing the title character, the villain, the witch character. She underwent, and I'm so proud because it's the #1 movie in America.
I look forward to meeting her and hearing what she has to say.
It's going to be fascinating. So, and that's a Michigan-made film that is blown up. It's a phenomenon. So we're just excited that something's happening and that we're going to be there. So anyway, for Michigan Production Alliance, my name is Barton Bond.
And I'm Mark Adler. Thank you for watching.